Hello and welcome back to National Busways West Scotland. Here looking over Barrhead and Neilston out to the southeast of Glasgow, where we do not have a direct link into Glasgow city centre yet. It's one that we've been very much neglecting, and it's one that I've planned to put in for quite some time. But you may have noticed that we don't have any single digit numbers left. We have 4 technically, but I have a place that I want to use the number 4. Maybe we'll put that in today because we have plenty of space at the Barnhill garage. But we have 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. I don't know if I covered it, but yeah, we put the Milgaiva routes in as the 6 and N6. We already have a 6, it's the Duntaka run. Which honestly I think that should be the 9 and the Milgaiva runs should be the 6. But oh well, it is what it is. We have the we have that. So 4 is ignore 4. 4 is off to the side because I have plans for 4. That's all the single digit numbers taken. But we have a single digit number, a single digit route number that is a cross city service, which normally are the ones that I've put is the as the teens. Or, you know, between 10 and 19 inclusive are my cross-city routes. But with the exception of the 8, which is the Cadder to Silverburn run. So what's going to happen is the 8 and 18 will have swapped places due to reasons that I can't think of. Yeah, due to reasons of National Busways being wed, the 8 and 18 swap places, where the 8 becomes a crosstown and the 18 becomes an out and back. So the 18 is what the Barrhead route is going to be, and it's going to be a bit of a fun one, because it's going to get into Barrhead, it's going to go up to the station, and then it's going to do some local stuff. And it's going to be paired with a night bus, which won't do any of the local stuff, but will go to Neilston. And that will come into Neilston like that and terminate somewhere down the back here. The bus can, yeah, you can get a bus through that probably. That's fine, it's suburban roads, it should be fine. And this is going to start from the bus station up here at Buchanan Street. Last week we put in this extra stand here for the 77, which runs out to, what's it called? I've forgotten. Good thing I have the route numbers open. The 77 is Kilmarnock, of course. 77 and 88 we put in last episode. Glasgow and Glasgow Airport to Kilmarnock. But now it is the turn of the 18. Glasgow to Barrhead. So, with the first stop placed at Buchanan bus station for the new 18, let's head down and give it a number. 18 Glasgow to Barrhead. There we go. And the way this is going to go is it's going to come out of Glasgow like that, like pretty much everything does. Then it's going to come down the Paisley Road like so, then down through Pollock, buzz the Silverburn Centre without actually serving it, then come down this road into Barrhead. Can I make... That's not a turn you can do, so yeah, we're going to come this way, go into Barrhead Station, around, and down, and serve the southern side of Barrhead. Exactly how, I'm not sure. We might come down like this and do that and turn back here. I like the look of that actually, let's do that. That's fun. So let's head back up to Glasgow, where we will get our route out of the city centre sorted. So we've come down there, so let's have our next stop be over there. Then we'll stop there, then there, then there, then there, then there. Then down there on Clyde Street, Bridge Street, Carlton Court, Neilston Street, West Street, Morrison Street, Laidlaw Street, and then post me, if you don't mind. The 18 is now in place between Glasgow and Barrhead. It's about 10.5 miles each way, and it's supposed to take 2 hours return before we've put timing points in, so it'll probably be more like 2 hours and 20 minutes or something. So the plan, I think, is to run it every 10 minutes during the day with a double timetable where there's 2 layers, each running every 20 minutes, stacked so that when they're both in operation during the height of the day, there will be a bus every 10 minutes. Which will feed in nicely to the half-hourly night bus, N18, that will run to Neilston. So, without further ado, I'm going to get the timetable done for the 18. And the timetable for the 18 is now done. So, we have stacked core and extra timetables that each run at the same frequency for all 7 days a week on this route. On Monday, Saturday, they both run every 20 minutes for a daytime frequency of every 10. And on Sundays, they run every half hour for a peak frequency of every 15 minutes. So I'm just now going to make sure that we have all of our destinations properly hooked up. Let's have a look at Sunday. And Sunday inbounds are all working. Perfect. So this is going to run using the... Come on, game. The WV type, the Volvo B70L Wright Eclipse Gemini. And that is the 18 from Glasgow to Barrhead. I've also made notes of the timings that I need for the N18. So let's activate route now, so that it's ready to go when we are. And then I'm going to plumb in the N18, which will run from Glasgow out to Neilston, and do some different things in Barrhead. So I've just made some notes as to when we should pass, or when we should be departing George Square, and when we should be passing Main Street in Barrhead on the way back into Glasgow. Just so that everything runs smoothly. Right, so the game actually crashed while I was getting set up to start doing the N18. But I'm back. I didn't lose much progress, thankfully, but still very annoying. But we're going to start on the N18, which is going to start from George Square Tourist Centre. Then it's going to stop at Renfield Street, Drury Street, but aside from that, it's going to be basically the same as the 18. Bridge Street, Cullen Court, Neilston Street, West Street, or Nelson Street, West Street, I should say, Morrison Street, Laidlaw Street, then on to Paisley Road, and post me, if you don't mind. The N18 is now done. From Glasgow George Square down to Neilston Glenshee, is that Glenshee Avenue? Yes, Glenshee Avenue, which is down at the very far south end of Neilston. So it's a little bit longer than the N8, but not that much longer because it doesn't do the weird stuff in Barrhead, and it doesn't go all the way out to the thingy. Whatchamacallit? Buchanan bus station, that's it. And the game's not responding. So, after the game's had a moment, I'll get the timetable made. And, well, I'll see you when we have a timetable to look at for the N18. And the timetable is now done for the N18. So it runs half hourly, all night, every night, bridging the gap between the last bus and the first bus the following morning. So, that is also going to be assigned from Barnhill, and we'll activate that now. The other thing we're going to activate now will be the daytime 18. And they will both be running with B7 Geminis, because of course they will. And hopefully these will do quite well for me. I mean, it's kind of a flawless recipe of a frequent bus service that goes to Glasgow city centre from the suburbs. It's guaranteed to be good. And the game appears to have had a moment. Hopefully it doesn't crash again. We'll see. I've just Alt-Tab to go to Task Manager, and everything's died. So let's see what's going on. Yeah, I've got like less than 500 megs of RAM left. My E drive is pegged, and my processor is just sitting there at 36%, like it's got nothing to do, other than run Windows in the background, which is fun. Although it looks like the game might be coming back. Nope, the game is not coming back. Not yet, anyway. But we will see. The game better come back. The game has just gone milky. Oh no, it's come back. RAM usage went up to like 15.7 gigs out of 16. So, this save is taxing. However, we now have a game. It's still a bit laggy because of everything, but we should be good. So, bus routes. Let's open up the bus routes panel. Head over to the 18, which is on page 3. There we go. 18, Glasgow to Barrhead. And let's see what it has in store for us. In terms of how many buses do we need to buy to run this route. So, show timetable. Activate it when we know how many buses we need. I'm guessing we will need 12, because it's about an hour each way. Let's go to the first one that has a 10-minute gap after it. There we are, this is 6:25 from Glasgow. Gets into Barrhead 7:33, leaves on the 7:40. Gets back into Glasgow at 8:50. Where it'll do the probably 8:55. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh my. Okay, so that takes us to 7:55. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so I'm gonna buy. And we already have some WVs at Barnhill. So I'm going to go over to... I'm going to activate it first. Then I'm going to go over to Barnhill and buy 18 buses for the 18. Ah, isn't that nice? The 18. We're going to buy 18 buses for it. Very nice. I like that. That's pleasing. So, yeah, then when we have buses, we will give the daytime 18 a quick look, as we always do. And we'll save the night bus for later. Because it's only 12, it's only midday, so that's going to take a while. Right, Barrhill, and activate. So yes, when this is activated, it's 18 WVs, and we'll be continuing the batch on from the batch that did the 77 and 88. The SF03 batch, absolutely massive batch of buses. Lots of Geminis, a couple of Eclipses. Very, very nice. Also, something to note about 2003, while we're waiting for this to activate, is 2003 is the year that Volvo switched over from the B7L to the B7RLE. Which means the VW type will be making a resurgence, because the B7L in real life was plagued by a variety of reliability issues that really, really hurt its popularity and longevity. It was handily outlasted in service by the B10 BLE Renowns. And I've kind of mimicked what happened in real life with the B7L by opting for Omnicities out in Renfrewshire and Inverclyde. And maybe we will have some Omnicities in Glasgow at some point as well. But we will see. We will see. I have been thinking to use them on the 29 if they've got a significantly better capacity than the Eclipse Metro. Because the 29 does not enjoy. The 29 is not enjoying life with those single deckers. But I wanted single deckers into central Glasgow, like, it's cool. And it happens a lot in real life as well. Because First just run single deckers everywhere, where they can get away with it. And McGill's don't have any double deckers, like, at all. So you get a lot of single deckers in Glasgow in real life. Not quite the case with National Busways West Scotland. But anywho, I will be back when there is something to look at in the way of an Eclipse Gemini. And finally, we have SF03MYG, better known as WV292. So, here's our new batch of 18 Wright Eclipse Geminis with B7L, B7TL, ready to go for the 18 alongside these B7s, which are for, actually I don't know what, they're for the 9s, duh. Yeah, those are for the 9s, these are for the 18s, but in reality they will do 9s and 18s, you know, just as well as each other, because they are identical. In fact, they are of the same batch. This batch is huge. You know, we have VW292 over here, and if we go back to the other end of the Geminis, for the 9, you know, that's WV232. How early do we go actually here? The earliest one's meant to live over here, and it's WV227, and that is on probably 9s right now. So we have a lot of Geminis. There we are, there's 292. So let's go to the shift scheduler for Barn Hill Garage and hope that we have enough drivers. We do not have enough drivers. I need more drivers. How many drivers do we have here? Surely it can't be that many. Yeah, we've only got 68. Yeah, we have more buses than that. I try to have 2 drivers per bus where I can manage that. However, this is proving a challenge. There we are, we have 76 now. Let's sort by friendliness upwards. The game really does not enjoy being this big. Certainly on 16 gigs of RAM. Maybe it would be better if I had 32? Surely it would be better if I have 64. But, I mean 32 is the most I can have in my system, because my system is old, and it uses DDR3 RAM, which I believe only came in DIMMs up to 8 gig. And I have 2 of those. So in theory I could get another pair of 8 gig DIMMs and be up to 32 gig, which would be substantially better. But we're not doing that. So we are vibing as we are. There is that. We now have plenty of drivers. So let's go into the shift scheduler and get these buses assigned. Assign drivers to this garage. And let's assign the 9s and 18s again. Well, the 9s again and the 18s for the first time, and there they go. So, yeah, these Enviro 500s, they are for the 17, and there's a lot of them. The 17 being the run from Newton Mearns to Annisland, which is certainly one of the more interesting cross cities, because it goes way further on one side than the other. But I've noticed that that does tend to be a thing in some places. So, I've done it here. Anywho, that's now done. I'm now going to kick it into high gear and head down to Barrhead, and we will take a quick spin on the 18. Right, so I am back. We now have the 18. Glasgow to Barrhead, I made some changes off camera to the way my PC works in order to hopefully get another episode out of this series before I have to put it on pause. Because I was contemplating putting it on pause during the break because it's unplayable. What I found out is that Windows was for some reason allocating my E drive to virtual memory, which, if you don't know how PCs work, virtual memory is basically where your operating system takes a little piece of a hard drive and pretends that it's RAM. And my E drive is a 13-year-old spinning hard drive, which is naturally crying out for the bin. I used to have City Bus Manager installed on the E drive. It's now installed on my C drive, which, if you know anything about Windows PCs, is the one that I boot from. It's the one that Windows lives on. And so I've also moved, as well as, a while ago, moving City Bus Manager over to that, which is a much faster solid-state hard drive that won't degrade over time. I've also moved the virtual memory over to the C drive, and hopefully that works. Because that means my virtual memory will be faster, so hopefully things like auto-saving and stuff like that should be a little bit less of a bother. Which seems to be the root of all evil with my current setup, is, the auto-saving and whenever the game just has a moment. But we'll see. We'll see how things go. I decided, because things were getting really, really bad this morning, to look at Resource Monitor, which, if you're unaware of that, is like Task Manager on steroids. But you can't manage tasks from it, so in a way it's nothing like Task Manager. But in terms of looking at how your system's functioning, it's like Task Manager on steroids. It's absolutely brilliant. And City Bus Manager was wanting 27 gigs of RAM. I only have 16. So even if I put 32 gigs of RAM in this system, we wouldn't have long left of good performance before... We wouldn't have much more time of good performance before going, oh, we're back where we started. So I've assigned... So hopefully, we would be going into virtual memory anyway. So hopefully, putting it on a faster hard drive that's not begging for death will help things. And things... I don't know if it's because I've also just restarted the game, but things seem to be working better. I'm not going to hold my breath. Anyway, let's focus on the 18. Just coming through central Glasgow now, in a conveyor belt of buses on the southern side of George Square. And it's busy. It's so busy. Well, this area is busy. This bus isn't actually that busy. SFO3MXX down here, very busy. We are in SFO3MXR. So we're doing... we're in the yellow. We're in the yellow. There's a 33 that we're sort of playing leapfrog with, and then there's a 101 that's going to tear away in front of us because it's limited stop. And yeah, just coming down Paisley Road now, still playing leapfrog with that 33. That's not great, because I think we run at the same frequency, which means that's always going to happen. Great. Although the 33 does turn off there, which is nice. My phone is buzzing. But yeah, coming down the Paisley Road now, we turn off here to head down into Pollock and to Buzz Silverburn. Very busy, very nice. 30 on board, very nice. And we're about to play Leapfrog with a 108. Very nice. And there we go, passing Silverburn without going into the bus station. I think this is the only route through Silverburn or through this area that doesn't actually go into the Silverburn bus station. You know, we're doing something a little different, and it's to keep the 18 as a very nice, direct, fast service to Barrhead. Maybe at some point we do like a 180 that goes from Neilston to Silverburn. That would be good. That would be a good shout. I like the sound of that, actually. 180. Ooh, that's fun. Yeah, there will be more where that came from. Hopefully. Hopefully. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give it another episode to see how things are working. And if things are sort of an improvement, then I will switch. I will sort of, keep the series going until it becomes unplayable again. But yeah, that was a little hang. And it didn't, when it would hang like that with the previous settings, it would stay stuck for a while. So I think we might be seeing some improvement. But that's good. We're now back at Barrhead on the 18. So, I've been recording since 3 AM. It's now 7:15. This video was meant to go up an hour and 15 minutes ago. Such were the problems that I've been having. So, I think I'm happy to keep this series going for at least a little bit longer. Subject to change. It'll be at least one episode for sure. But we will see. So yeah, I think all that's left to say is that has been it from me for this week from National Busways West Scotland. Bye bye.